Welcome to a special episode of the Fan Feed Pod. This is a bonus episode for everybody out there, and it looks a lot different because we're not in our normal studio, and there's two new faces, soon to be three new faces. Once again, I'm Cameron. This is the Fan Feed Pod, joined by Alex Percy. You're the Patriots writer, right, Alex?
I'm Patriots writer, yeah. Big
Let's
Patriots
go.
fan,
Then,
big Drake May Glazer. Yeah,
let's go. Me. I'm all about the Drake May glazing. We got Dominic Orrico. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Dominic or Rico.
Dominic. I have such a hard time with the name Dominic because Trey's wife is named Dominic, but it's Dominique.
Oh.
And so I don't know whether to call her Dominique, Dom. I don't know.
It's already planted in your head.
That's right. But you're our Bears writer, right?
Yes, sir. Chicago.
Yes, sir. And me and you are holding down the fort for freaking
for number 13. Yeah, baby.
13. He's back. We can finally draft him with confidence. He's no longer 87. Number 13, Luther Burden.
Putting him up the rankings.
So tonight, guys, what we're doing, we will be joined by one more, Logan LazarczykLogan, and I'm so excited to show him that I know how to pronounce his last name because that's a hard one.
Wow,
he'll be here in just a few minutes. That was pretty good. Tonight, we're going to do a mock draft. Since this weekend is draft weekend, we thought it'd be fun to do a little mock draft. 12-team PPR, standard, roster spaces, one quarterback, two running backs, two receivers, one tight end. And we actually added in kickers and defenses just because we know most people still play with those. And we're actually joined by a lot of fans of the show, friends of mine and friends of the show. So shout out to Big Caves, shout out Chalupa Batman, Travis, what up? Shout out Dave, Roberto, whoa. Dave's had a couple hot takes on here that will go up in flames later on. Time for school. Don't look at his profile picture too hard. That's my boy Mikey, B Mike. That's me as a little kid. He did that just for this.
No way.
Yeah, he's a troll.
Great.
He's a troll. Wow. Shout out B Mike. He had a hot take on the Tuesday show.
I love the bullpen.
It's so good,
bring
isn't
it
back. I need it. We got my boy Malaka Flocka. We got B Sapino. We got Hung Main. He's had a bunch of hot takes on the show. And then Logan at the 12 hole, who will be here very shortly. I'm trying to think. We do have one spot left. So if there's anybody who's watching this live stream right now, wants to join, we're going to start at 8:30. So we might not be able to get them in. But if anybody does want to join, leave a comment and let us know, and I'll get you in. But I've talked enough. I want to hear from Alex. Alex, tell us about what you're doing with FanFeed and what you love about fantasy football. What's your history with fantasy football?
Yeah, so I joined FanFeed Network off an inquiry through a local buy-sell group chat that was asking for a Commanders writer, and I messaged, and I was like, I don't like the Commanders. My roommate in college actually likes the Commanders, so I referred him, and then I heard that there might be a Patriots writing role. So ended up applying for that, doing an interview. And now I'm here. I'm a huge Patriots fan. A lot of my family lives in Boston. That's how I became a Patriots fan. And I chose a good time to do it, 2012 through 2012 was when I started my fandom. And from then on, I got to witness four Super Bowls for Tom Brady, 3 for the Patriots. And fantasy football came along because I've always been a numbers guy. And my dad thought when I was 9, hey, let me show my son this thing called fantasy football. I think he'll take to it. So we did a draft together, and we're looking at the draft board, and suddenly I hear the da-da-da, da-da-da, and it's my pick. And so I click pick on the Seahawks defense in the first round. And some guy in chat says, what kind of a-hole picks the Seahawks defense in the first round? And that added to my determination for fantasy. A few weeks in, my dad stopped playing and just left it to me, and I ended up winning that league. And after that, 9-year-old me addicted to fantasy football and started playing 5 leagues a year. Last year, I did a guillotine league for the first time in a 32-man. I study sports analytics at Syracuse University. We're all big sports guys. I'm the director of outreach for our football analytics club. Go follow us on Twitter at SU Football Analytics. I'm posting there a lot about NFL news and whatnot. And yeah, my goal someday is to be a on-air analyst for fantasy football or for the Patriots. But yeah, time will tell if I can get there. But this is the dream here. Yep.
Bro, is this your first podcast? Or live stream mock draft thing?
This is my first time live on this podcast. I do campus TV here, and I did a podcast where we debated college football last year. That was my first ever podcast. But hey, this is my first time on the fan feed pod, other than sharing some takes about Ramondre Stevenson a couple weeks ago that appeared on screen. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
I love it. All right, I got 2 questions. What's the most predictive stat for future wide receiver success in the NFL? In your experience, there's not a right answer.
Well, are we talking about fantasy football?
Yeah, for fantasy.
For fantasy football, it seems that breakout age in college is one of the most predictive stats. Like when a player breaks out earlier in their college career, as we're seeing Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams do right now, they end up being a better player in the NFL. Puka Nacua was a good he had like the youngest breakout age of his draft class, and then ended up being the steal of the draft that year. Other than that, I mean, it's mostly what system they go into is how good they're going to be at receiver. What target share, I would say. Like Malik Neighbors last year. We knew he was going to be in for a lot of targets. That's why people were drafting him high. Ended up outperforming Harrison, who had competition for McBride, and Michael Wilson for some reason, maybe even Rondale Moore at the start of the season. That's what I usually go with. The GOAT Rondale Moore, yeah.
So who in this class was pretty good at early college dominator rating?
I think that I remember the worst was Jack Beck, so don't draft Jack Beck. But I think Emeka, even though he was in the Ohio State system, I think he broke out at some point in his sophomore year. He's pretty good, but other than him, I mean, Ted. I think predicted pretty well. But don't draft Jack Beck.
You're missing somebody.
Am I?
You're missing somebody, Alex. I'm so upset.
Is it Matthew Golden? Oh, no. Kyle Williams. Duh. What am I talking about?
Whoa. You're still missing him. Come on, dude. That's me. It's Luther Burden.
Oh, is it Luther Burden?
His sophomore season
breakout range? Oh,
yeah. His sophomore season is one of the best sophomore seasons in college football history. I'm so excited.
I do remember that because he was super high rated in CFB 2025.
He's a dog. Yeah. He's a dog. Let's see. We have a comment here. Lehigh, Sky High, been in here quite often saying 101 Packers defense is the pick. Totally agree. That's a rocket emoji for those who couldn't see.
I'm not. I have the first overall pick. I will not be taking the Packers defense.
I mean, Micah Parsons is there. That's the big news of the day. Trey hit me up earlier. I was unable to hop on, but we were going to do an emergency pod to talk about Micah Parsons being traded to the Packers, signing a huge deal. It's crazy because there's this guy on Twitter named Ricky, and he's got a dog avatar. Like he's just this random dude who just started like leaking information about trades. He was one of the leaders about the Brandon Ayuk trade to the Steelers that didn't happen. He thought Brandon Ayuk was going to the Steelers last year really hard. And, but this year he has been spot on, and he's been calling this for like 2-3 weeks. And pretty exciting. Micah Parsons to the Packers. If you're a Packers fan, you got to feel good about that.
Oh, my gosh. They got it.
Yeah, I mean, good thing
and
you
if you're
didn't have me on that. Yeah, good thing you didn't have me on that podcast because I would have been just weeping. So
I was about to say, if you're a Bears fan, that's terrible news. But that's a great transition to Dominic. Tell us about you, man.
So I initially got an email from Trey. He was looking for writers for the Fan Feed Network. So I was interested, and I thought it was like a really cool and unique idea. So I messaged him back. We talked. His face kind of was like this when I told him I was a Bears fan and I lived in New Jersey. So he was like, "You're what? Super close to MetLife and you're a Bears fan? Got it. Makes sense." But no, but I was super excited for it because he let me do obviously this fantasy fantasy football stuff. I've been really passionate about it past couple of years. I started back in 2020. Similar situation to Alex. I traded Mark Andrews for Sony Michel. And I almost got beat up by one of my league mates to that. So I'm similar mistake, but definitely learned from it. And now I'd like to call myself a little bit of a veteran of fantasy football, even though it's only been 5 years. But I really enjoy it, and I'm super excited. I love everything that we're doing here at Fantasy Network. We got something really, really good. Everybody's super smart about their teams, and it's really nice to get to be able to write about something I'm really passionate about. So I think Trey and Cam got something really good going here.
Yeah, totally. I hope so. I'm definitely hoping so. We got somebody, TB. Tom Brady is commenting on the stream right now saying Ricky is definitely an insider leaking information. Dang.
That's awesome.
Tom Brady, this is sick. Thank you, Tom, for checking out the stream.
Nobody will be drafting you today, Tom.
That's right.
I'll draft Tom Brady last round. I will.
There you go. That's actually that's Mr. Trey right there. Trey Bailey.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, y'all were talking about your fantasy experience. So I'll share mine because I don't think I've gotten to share my fantasy experience on this podcast because we're not predominantly a fantasy show, but being a fan feed, a fan show, fantasy's just become such an integral part to being a fan. Like everybody plays now. I started playing in church leagues back in 2007, 2006, something like that. Whatever year Adrian Peterson came out, that was my first draft.
07.
Was 07, yeah. So I was I used to read like stats books. Like I'd buy like the big giant stats book for all the sports, and I would just sit there and read it at night. And I could memorize like all the statistics for every team in the NFL. I was studying baseball, and I don't even like baseball, studying hockey, basketball, all that stuff. I just loved sports. I was addicted. So fantasy football gave me another outlet. And that first year, my guy who I had to have was Adrian Peterson. And I just knew he was good, drafted him in the first round. And, everybody was clowning me in the church league. And he turned out to be a great pick until week 14 when he blew his knee out. Now, just because I made a good pick in my first draft doesn't mean that I was always good. And a couple of these guys are in the first dynasty league that I ever joined. Shout out to Chalupa Bet. My guy Travis got me into a dynasty league with him. Hung Man is in there too. Trying to see if anybody else. No, I think that's just those two, the OGs. So we got into a 14-man dynasty league back in 2018. Drafted Saquon. That was great. And then I butchered it. I think I drafted Josh Gordon in the third round, which is absolutely hilarious.
He should have been great.
He should have been great, dude.
So
they should have just been
potential.
taxed. Why couldn't they just chill, dude?
He was chilling too much. That was the problem.
That is true. He was a dog. And but anyway, I think heading into the second year, I was like, my team wasn't that good because I didn't draft very well. I drafted a lot of old guys. So I started selling off pieces because I saw other people doing it. But I didn't really understand like player values, like the market and how to like manipulate that. I ended up trading one night because I read something on Twitter about Todd Gurley coming back. Like it was the year after Gurley like had torn his ACL and got traded to the Falcons. And I read something about him. I was like, oh, dude, he's going to come back. He's going to be so good. So I traded Mike Evans straight up for Todd Gurley in his prime. And, the rest is history. That was a terrible, terrible trade. So, that's my experience, and I'm sticking to it. We might hang out just for a few minutes to wait for Logan. I think he should be here any minute.
Yeah,
hold on. I see him. He was hiding. There he is.
Hey guys, thank you. I appreciate it.
Logan.
Thank you.
What's up, dude? How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Ready to draft, baby. But before we draft, we got to hear about you. And did you see that I got your name right? Lazarczyk.
You know what? I am very appreciative of that because most people can't pronounce my last name for the life of them. So I really appreciate you pronouncing that correctly.
Trust me, I've butchered it multiple times, but Trey has been on me this whole time. We've done this podcast. Every time I say somebody's name wrong, he's like, their name's actually pronounced. And I'm like, Trey. So, Logan, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing with FanFeed, and your experience with fantasy football.
So my name is Logan. I'm from Kansas City. I've been a huge Chiefs fan pretty much my entire life since I, understand football and all that. Since I started watching football probably 6 or 7, but really didn't know what was going on until maybe 8, 9, 10 years old. I've been playing fantasy football since I was 9 years old. I heard you talking about Adrian Peterson. I had the year I started fantasy football. They did an auto draft for the draft, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but I had the number 1 pick, which turned out to be Adrian Peterson. So I didn't mind that, and I ended up winning the league because of that. But yeah, fantasy football, really fun. I just started doing Dynasty a few years ago. Just won a title off of that this past year. Traded Isaiah Pacheco and a first, which is like the 107 for Derrick Henry and Kyron Williams, which that definitely worked out because Pacheco got hurt, and then Derrick Henry ran for like 20 touchdowns, and Kyron ran for 14 or so. But yeah, fantasy football has definitely been a huge part of what I do. I'm like 3 or 4 leagues, but definitely fun and something I look forward to each and every year.
That's sick. I love it. Where can people find you, Logan? Because I know you also have a podcast, and I think you have socials.
Yes. So my Instagram is Logan LazarczykLogan34, and then my Twitter is @LazarczykLogan. And then my podcast, it's called the Laser Bros Podcast, and we actually just recorded an episode earlier today with our predictions for divisions in the entire 2025 NFL season.
Oh, let's go. Everybody, please go check out that podcast. I've tuned into the last couple. Been really good. I really like the dynamic between Logan and his brother. And Logan is just a natural host. Like, I don't know if you've ever practiced this, but you're really good at just hosting pods. I really
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
As someone that
we just started a couple years ago. So, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, Trey asked me to host, and I've never done that, and I'm just kind of winging it out here. But we'll make it work. But you're just a natural.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I basically winged it, to be quite honest with you as well. I would ask my brother, do you want to be the host or do you want me to do it? And since I'm the older brother, he's like, you should just be the host. I was like, okay, sounds good to me.
That's awesome. I know you'll appreciate this trade, and I'm going to share it really quick because this guy's in the draft. David R71 is a bad fantasy football player. No, I'm just kidding. He's not. He's not bad. But last year during the offseason, he had Rashee Rice, and I was trying to trade for him so hard, like trying to get Rashee, because I was really buying into his end of the season stats and what he did at the end of the year, his rookie year. And so Dave was a big fan of Xavier Legette. And I was like, well, let's do it, dude. And so he was like, well, I need a little more. So he traded me a 24, or I traded him a 2024 second round pick. And he gave me back like a 2025 second round pick. So we just swapped years. And then I traded Legette and got Rashee. And that was a good one. I'm sure Dave's going to start texting me soon. Just like
he's in the sleeper chat right now. Yeah.
Is he really? What's he saying? He's upset at me.
He said, yeah, pretty much. And Big Cabe said, don't listen, Dave. You're a star in my eyes. He's being consoled already, so he's all right.
This is good. We got another comment. Our boy Kendrick, the life of Kendrick. He covers the Panthers for FanFeed. He's tuning in. He's excited for this mock, and I think that's a perfect segue to go ahead and get this thing started. Once again, this is a 12-team PPR redraft league. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 1 flex, 1 tight end, and a kicker and a defense. And so y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. So what's the strategy going into the 101 for you guys this year?
So, I mean, I have the easiest job in the world. I just picked Jamar Chase. I like Bijan Robinson a lot, and I like having a running back early, but there's running backs around the 2-3 turn that I like still. I think they're good enough to be a hero RB or just the anchor of a team. So I think it's just picking Jamar Chase and sitting back and watching the next 2 rounds unfold, see what you get left with. That's the strategy at 101.
I love it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that that one spot especially, I think you have a lot of room to reach too. So if you see a guy that's like maybe mid round, that's in the second or third round, and you want him,
Mhm.
like you see like a Kyron Williams, and he's a little bit farther away. I think you have all the all the privilege in the world to get that, because that 1 and 2 spot, I think that's prime reaching ground, that you got a little bit of slack to reach, and that's why I think Alex got a really, really nice pick out of that.
And then Jahmyr
Yeah, I
Gibbs
think-
goes right after, above Bijan and Saquon.
So that was what I was going to say, is that I think Jahmyr is arguably the 101 in drafts this year. In fact, in the Fan Feed Writers League that we've got going on, I took Jahmyr Gibbs at the 101, and I'm not looking back. I love Jamar, and I love Bijan. There's no shade to any of those guys, but Jahmyr Gibbs is just a wow. That's a big reach.
Okay.
Yeah, my impersonator. Anyway, I'm just a big fan of Jahmyr. What do you think, Logan? How do you feel about the 101?
So I had the 101 in a draft last week, full PPR, took Jamar Chase. I think it's a pretty easy pick, especially in full PPR leagues, to take a receiver like Jamar Chase, and he's on a team with a really bad defense. They're going to have to throw the ball. I would choose him or Bijan, but Chase, I think, has a higher ceiling because they're going to be throwing the ball as much as they will.
I love it. Dom, you just took Saquon. How do you feel about that pick?
I love that. I initially I was going to go after a CD Lamb, or in this case Justin Jefferson was still available, but I think that Barkley should at least be in the top 4. I'm surprised he fell this far, but there 2,000 yards doesn't lie. Like no matter how he's going to regress, but no matter how much he regresses, it's not going to be so significant that the Eagles are like, let's never run the ball again with Saquon. So they're going to give him a ton of volume. They're going to give him a ton of touches. There's no really competition in that backfield. He's shown what he can do on the Eagles in this offensive line that only has gotten better, even after the loss of guys like Kelsey, injuries to Mailata, and Lane Johnson. But I think he's, no matter what, he's a top 4 pick.
And CMC.
Yeah, you like that. If you watch the pod from Tuesday, you will know that Saquon is actually one of my bigger fades this year. Not to say that I think he's a bad player. I just think he should go closer to the 1-2 turn, because I do think regression is coming, and what he did last year is completely unsustainable. This stat is mind-blowing. He had 7+ touchdowns from 60 yards out.
Absurd.
It's insane. Absurd. Yeah. And I love Saquon, and I hate to be the one doubting him again, but here I am. I went Christian McCaffrey next. I think outside of those top 4, top 5 guys, the upside of a McCaffrey, if he's fully healthy, which all reports right now, there's no injury risk, there's no concern. He's fully healthy, and everybody else in the 49ers team is dying. I just think McCaffrey is a smash if he stays healthy. And I'm a risk averse drafter. I love taking risk. I think I said that right. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. I embrace a lot of risk.
Risk averse is not taking risks, but
Oh yeah, so I'm not risk averse. I'm anti-risk averse. Thank you, Alex.
Logan, I like that Brian Thomas pick.
I appreciate it. The receivers there, Puka kind of scares me because of the whole Matthew Stafford, back injury. I'm kind of scared of drafting Rams players this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like Brian Thomas there. He's a smash. I just think he's so good. I think people are doubting him once again, and I think he's just going to be really good. And I love Genty. I think Genty is going way too late in drafts. 112 just seems way too late for a guy who's explosive, got juice, fresh, and he's joining a Raiders team that is going to be very consolidated, sticking strictly to running with Genty and then passing to Bowers and Genty. I just think it's going to be so consolidated there.
Do you think it's justified to take him top 5? Like in that maybe like 5-6 range?
So it's an interesting first round. I'm not taking him over Chase, Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb. Probably not Saquon because we don't know yet if he's going to be a pass catcher or not. And Saquon's also not much of a pass catcher. I would take him over Bijan right now only because of the troubles they have with the offensive line. They just lost Caleb McGarry for the season. He's like the number one, like he's a top 5, like inside lineman. I hope so. It's okay if he didn't.
That was you.
That was me? I'll take AJ. I'm actually okay with AJ.
Sorry, Cam, I kind of distracted you.
Well, I think I was watching the stream, and the stream's a little delayed. So I'm like, yeah. No, AJ's pretty good. I do like AJ, especially since Drake London left. So, yeah, I'm a little concerned about Bijan. So what's y'all's strategy here in the second round? Who do you think is going to be one of the best players coming out in the second round here?
I think you nailed it. I think Drake London is kind of underrated. I think he had Penix had a lot of chemistry with him the back half of last season. I don't know if anybody agrees or.
He was. I think he was wide receiver 1 when Penix was throwing. That looks good going into this year.
He was averaging like 13 targets a game or something with Penix at quarterback. So he'll probably have another dominant target share as well this season.
Dom taking the skinny Devin A-Chain. Tell me what's your thoughts here with A-Chain.
Well, he actually won me a fantasy championship last year in my my redraft league, my $100 redraft league. So
nice.
I'm traded for him late for 1-for-1 Tank Dell, right before he popped his entire leg and it burst into flames. No, I think he's going to be the focal point. I see people kind of doubting Hill last season, especially with his regression and his lack of targets. I think especially Waddle are getting. Ooh, I like that pick. Sorry. I think him and Waddle are going to be kind of on the back burner, especially for target wise. I think Tua's going to throw a lot of checkdowns this year. He threw almost 20% checkdowns last year for target share. So.
Yeah, what was his yards per attempt last year? Like 6.1 versus 10 the year before. Yeah, he's
something like
become
that.
a checkdown quarterback.
Does that calf injury concern you at all? Because I know those injuries that can kind of linger.
No, I don't think it concerns me. Maybe the first couple games of the season. I think another name out of the draft, Ollie Gordon, maybe he's going to get some more touches because I think he was their biggest breakout star of the preseason. But I don't see like the full season. I'd say from week 2, maybe week 1 on. I after that I wouldn't see it an issue.
Yeah, the soft tissue injury is always scary, but the upside of A-Chain is just so delicious and so tempting. We're coming up here to the 1, 2, 3 turn, and I want to ask y'all a question. How do y'all feel this year about the elite quarterback going Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels? Is that a strategy that you think is good for redraft leagues this year?
I'll start since I'm on the turn right now. It's not my favorite. I think that there's so much quarterback value in the 10th, 11th, 12th rounds, guys that could be top 5 fantasy quarterbacks that are falling all the way down there. I'd rather save it and wait and grab some strong guys like I'm about to
Great
grab
pick.
Chase Brown, who I think is probably one of the best values out of the second round. I mean, after he got the ball last season, he was RB3 for the rest of the year once he started getting touches, and he only scored I think he scored 11 touchdowns when his touchdowns expected was like 14. So he's due for even more scores this year. I think that his floor is huge in that Bengals offense. And here I have a tough decision. I'm between Kieran and T. Higgins, and I did just pick Jamar Chase and Chase Brown, so I don't want to get a third Bengal. I think that'd be insane. I'm already happy with my Bengal stat. So I am going to take Kieran Williams, lock down my running back position. And I think that the receivers are so much better. My friend just commented that Bill Krosky Merritt's still on the board. He's a Commanders fan. And Yeah, I know. He's still on the board. You weren't supposed to tell them that. He's still down in like the 160s, I think, in the sleeper rankings. I was going to grab him later, but now you made everybody aware, Noah. Come on.
Yeah, I'm
But,
drafting him this round, so.
Dang it. I wanted Bill.
Yeah, Bill's going way too late. He should be like a second round pick. I have a feeling. But I also traded away Mike Evans for Todd Gurley. So what do I know?
Wow, we were just talking about Amari in Hampton.
I like the pick there. He was my next running back ranked, actually, in my rank.
Yeah, Hampton's a great pick there. He's a big riser throughout the offseason. I think he was going closer to the 5th round. And with everything that's happened, he's moved up to the 3rd, sometimes into the 2nd. Yeah, I'm with Alex. I know we talked about the elite quarterback idea. It depends on the size of your league, to me. So there goes Dave taking elite quarterback, probably just to troll me. But
I hope Kendrick's watching. He took Lamar with the 2-2 or the 2-3 in the writers draft.
Yeah, Lamar took it way early. Or Kendrick took Lamar way early. So anyway, I think that taking quarterback early makes a lot of sense in an 8 to 10 man league. But once you get into 12-man league, I think there's so much value at the back end of the board. Like Alex said, there's so many guys going late who have so much upside that I'm not willing to risk. Wow, that was really good. Not willing to risk missing out on one of these running backs or receivers or even elite tight ends early on in the draft. Oh, there goes Travion.
Wow,
that was me right now.
Mm-hmm.
But Alex, what do you think about Travion? You're the Patriots guy. Where should we be drafting him?
I think that he's a round 4 guy. I don't think he's a round 3. I mean, it is a 12-man, so it's different than a 10-man. I think that he's a late round 4 and 10-man, early to mid round 4 and a 12-man. I think that Ramondre Stevenson is going to be better this year, and they're going to run him a lot. Last year was a split between Stevenson and Gibson. I think that having Travion Henderson on the team opens Stevenson up, and the Patriots are never one to lean on one running back. We've always had a 2 running back room. I don't think Travion's going to get enough touches to be this high. It might be a Gibbs-Montgomery scenario. That's the best case ever, but we throw the ball too much. Josh McDaniels is back. Drake May is going to be better this year. I like Travion. I don't like him that much to pick him early in the 3rd round.
Dom goes with JSN, snipes me at the last minute. And I am forced to make a decision, and I'm going to go with my gut.
Wow. Okay.
I'm embracing risk. So, once again, Christian McCaffrey, injury prone. Ken Walker, injury prone. Ken Walker in this new Seattle offense is just, once again, delicious. Absolutely delicious. Clint Kubiak is a running back scheme fiend. I just think he goes too low. I think he's a star. I love the pick. Well, Dom, go ahead. Let's hear JSN. What do you think JSN is going to be like this year? Because a lot of people have been down on him after his breakout year 2.
I think that he's going to take the fantasy world by absolute storm. I mean, granted, last couple of years, last year he had a 14% target share. So, I mean, in the room with DK and Tyler Lockett, both out, and Cooper Kupp, who's one injury prone, who's not going to get as many targets as Smith and Jigba. You can move him all over the field. He's played slot. He's played X. He's played Y. So they're going to have plenty of time and space to move him around, especially with Darnold, who had another breakout season last year. It's the perfect storm, I think, for him to have. I think he's going to get drafted in that round 1 or 2 next year for the season he has this year.
I love it. I do have a comment here I need to share from Kendrick. He does not like y'all dragging him for taking Lamar early. He wasn't willing to risk someone taking Lamar early. He had to get him. And after last year, what Lamar did, I mean, I don't blame him. He got snubbed for the MVP, 40 touchdowns passing. I don't even know how many he added with his legs, but he was so good last year. Wow. All right, Logan, we got to talk. So you took T. Higgins, which I love T. Higgins there.
Wow.
Chuba Hubbard. Tell me about Chuba Hubbard.
So when I'm looking at the running backs, and I kind of like getting 2 running backs in the first 4 rounds or so, I'm looking at Breece Hall. I really don't know if I really like that situation with Justin Fields taking carries. They have Braylon Allen. And then James Conner, I kind of think there's like a teardrop after Chuba a little bit in Breece Hall. And maybe I reached a little bit for Chuba, but the Breece Hall Jet situation I'm kind of wary of right now. And I was thinking about taking Tyreek Hill. They're kind of taking a shot on him, but I'm kind of lower on the Dolphins this year, and I just don't really have a good feeling about Miami's, overall outlook in 2025.
Your boy just got drafted too.
I know. I was so tempted to take Breece Hall to just fully complete the most scary running back room of all time.
That and Rashee Rice, who just got suspended for 6 weeks. Stupid took him.
Shout out Stupid, Big C. What up, baby?
Yeah, that's a really interesting pick.
Yeah, where would you guys take Rice? Now that he's suspended 6 weeks,
what
round? 6. Okay.
I'm going fourth round. Once again, I'm all about embracing risk. I think there's enough receivers, especially in this small of a league. So your max going to start 3 receivers. You can get your 2 running backs in the first 2 rounds and then smash receivers for the next 3-4 rounds and have somebody on the bench who's going to give you, maybe 12 to 14 points per game if you hit, which is pretty good. If you can hold out to week 6, I think Rashee Rice is the next coming of Cooper Kupp.
Wow.
That's my take.
Wow.
I'm sticking.
I kind of like that comp just because he can work underneath. He can also catch stuff in the middle of the field. I kind of like that comp. I do wonder, though, because he's entering his 3rd year, and then next year he'll be entering his final year of his contract. I mean, how much does he get? Will the Chiefs, how much will they have to pay him just because he's already had a knee injury, suspension? I mean, do they kind of get a discount on him?
The knee injury, to me was a freak accident. I mean, that was Mahomes taking out his own boy on a tackle. Weird injury. The off the field stuff is definitely a valid concern. And here's the other thing: they drafted Jalen Royals, who, for all accounts, is very similar player to Rashee Rice. And so that could be the plan, is that they don't want to pay him, which, they've got a lot of money tanked into Mahomes, pouring into Chris Jones, and keeping the defense strong. So it'll be interesting. But I think this year, especially once he comes back, they got embarrassed in the Super Bowl. They don't want that to happen again. And they're going to make a lot of changes. And I'm really excited about the Chiefs offense this year.
Travis. Wow.
I love it. I love it.
Risky.
Alex, were you hoping that Burrow would come back to you for that stack with Chase?
There would be the craziest Bengals lineup of all time. I was hoping that Burrow would get to me. I like him actually. Hot take, more than Hurts this year. I think Burrow is going to go nuclear with T. Higgins back. I think he throws 40 touchdowns again. He'd be the first quarterback in NFL history to have 2 straight seasons of 40 touchdowns, but I think he could do it. Everybody's avoiding Tyreek Hill, and I'm actually going to do that as well.
Wow.
Am I? I think
Nice
he's falling
fake
too
out.
far. You know what? I think he's
5th round is pretty late for him.
Yep.
I think 5th round's a little late. I'm deciding between him and Terry. I would take Terry, but I mean, there's just a lot of history with receivers getting injured or not playing well after they come back from a long holdout or not going to training camp at all. So I do think I'm going to take Tyreek Hill. I'm going to end his slide down the draft board right there. 5-1. I'm happy with that with Tyreek. I'll take the risk there.
I love it. You got to embrace risk, especially 5th round. 5th round is filled with landmines, and you might think you're taking a good guy. It can miss. And Tyreek Hill, if he hits, top 2 rounds or late back into the 1st round value. So, I mean, yeah, I love taking the hit on Tyreek Hill there. 5th round is way more comfy than 3rd round. Let's talk about Travis Hunter, because I heard a lot of oohs and ahs, and even the chat is going off in the sleeper chat. What is y'all's thoughts on Hunter this year?
I don't know it depends how your league determines points too. does your league count like defensive points?
Let's
'Cause
say they
that could
don't
be-
count defensive points. No defensive points for Travis Hunter. He only gets his receiving points.
I think he's your type of player. Then I think he's a big risk player. I think he's bound to work out in that offense. But obviously the target share is a little concerning. Like, how many is he going to get? How many is ETN going to get? How many is Brian Thomas going to get? So
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Round
Speaking of target share, but
So,
yeah.
really quick, can y'all see who plays Dynasty in this league?
Oh my gosh, yeah. with the
Definitely, yeah.
That's
Three
true.
rookies. Okay.
3 rookies, 2 second years.
Yeah, he's gonna be great in like 3 years.
This team
Dom
might
is
be the
on
best
clock,
fantasy
just-
team in history in 2028.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm just so curious. I think people are just so low on Travis Hunter after the team has done nothing but talk positively about him, talk about his role in the offense. They've come out multiple times saying that he is going to be sorry, I heard the clicker. I thought it was me. That he is going to be offense first and moonlight on defense, which is exactly what we want. Even if he plays 70% of the snaps, I mean, there's nobody else beside Brian Thomas in that receiver room. I don't understand.
Yanni Brown, man.
And he was second overall.
Yeah, they traded
Second
up for him
overall.
too. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
trading up for him is kind of like that big signal to be like we're going to use him in a lot. So
Yeah, they seem to be.
Yeah, I think the fact that they gave up that much, he's more likely to make an impact on the offense side of the ball than the defense side of the ball. And I'm kind of worried about his size for defense, not for a coverage standpoint, but from like a tackling standpoint. His size does concern me a bit.
Yeah. Yep. I think they knew what they were doing. But let's review some of these picks. We did have Emeka Egbuka go way early. But I do feel like this is a good place for him to go with these first-round receivers. He is a first-round receiver, and that Buccaneers offense has got a lot of injuries and old men. Dom goes and takes Cortland Sutton. I took George Pickens. What do we think about those picks, fellas?
I think both those are great picks. Especially, I really like Sutton this year. Yeah, and I think Sutton's going to dominate the target share in Denver. So I really like that pick too.
Yeah, I think Sutton's an amazing pick. He was incredible with Bo Nix last year. I don't really see Bo Nix having a sophomore slump. He was a lot more developed coming into the league. Everybody saw him as pro ready. I think he'll avoid that. Sean Payton's an offensive genius. Yeah, I think Sutton has a great year again.
I think that George Pickens George Pickens pick is really nice. I like I think people are kind of shying away from him this year because of CeeDee Lamb, but he's going to have a very similar role to when Jordan Addison is healthy in that Vikings offense. He's going to get like at least like 10 to 11 points each week, and that's really nice. That's your third wide receiver, so it's really nice to have.
Yeah, so the Pickens one, this is the same ADP roughly that he was going in last year when he was the number 1 for Pittsburgh. Obviously a poor offense. Now he gets, I think, a massive upgrade, although he is playing behind CeeDee Lamb, but it's 2025. Like, we're not living in the early 2000s where you can only have one receiver really go off. We have plenty of examples. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, going early, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. There's just so many. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. I could keep going. But Pickens, I think, is an elite talent that was just masked by a terrible Steelers offense. I like his chances to post double-digit touchdowns and over 1,200 yards this year in that offense. And they're going to throw the ball a ton because they ain't got nobody running the ball. Let's go to the turn because Logan's just reading my mail, takes Xavier Worthy, Zay Flowers. Tell me about those receivers.
So Xavier Worthy, I think with Rashee Rice out the first 6 weeks, definitely has an opportunity to make a pretty big impact on the offense. Zay Flowers, I was a bit I wasn't a huge fan of that pick, but when I was looking at the board, looking who's available, I really didn't see anybody else I liked, and I didn't want to reach for another player. So I kind of took, a player on a good offense who's the number one weapon on that offense.
I love the Worthy bet this year. If last year Mahomes was so bad throwing the deep ball, where now if he converts, just a few more of those deep ball targets to Worthy, I just think Worthy's such a smash where he goes. We saw him. He has the ability to perform well. Everybody poo-poos the Super Bowl performance because it was garbage time, but the starting defense was still out there. And knowing the Eagles' mentality, they didn't want the Chiefs to put any points up on them. They wanted to crush them. And the fact that Worthy was able to go off like he did, I think it was 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm buying that going into this year. And without Rashi, he's, like Logan said, he's got that chance to seize the wide receiver 1 role. But even when Rashi comes back, Rashi plays that underneath style, like that Kelsey style, and it's going to open things up for Worthy deep. And I love it.
Yeah, I think that they have kind of like a Monroe St. Brown, Jameson Williams ceiling, the two of them. Because, Rashid's the GOAT at slants, Michael Thomas. All of them, Michael Thomas. And then, deep balls, Xavier Worthy's got the speed nobody else has. So, sky's the limit with them. What are you thinking here?
Yeah, what I'm thinking here is this is just a dead spot in the draft. A lot of the running backs here I don't like. There's one I do like. Receivers looking pretty thin as well. And, in this build, I'm embracing risk. This is one of those teams where I'm just like, you know what? If it dies, it dies. I'm going to just go and take a pick that may make me look silly one day, but I'm just going to take this pick. I'm going to bet on Odunze coming back. Do not feel confident about that pick.
I think you should. I think he's hot take. I think he's going to go. He should go above Moore, and he might go in next year's draft. I think he's going to go above Moore. I think Moore is more of that Deebo Samuel type of player this year. They've been playing him a lot in training camp at running back and having him play those sweet motion plays where it's a wraparound run. So I think Odunze is going to get a lot of those receptions, and especially in PPR, he's going to go for I think way more than DJ Moore.
Yeah, I think Odunze is probably the wide receiver 1 there this season. I would be pretty confident with Odunze.
Man, so why is he going so late as the number 1? That's just crazy.
He didn't have a great year last year. I think that offense in Chicago was all over the. They didn't after those first couple weeks where they were so rattled. They you see how many sacks Williams took as well. So he didn't even have a chance to get the ball out most of the time. So it was so disgruntled. I think that people are shying away from him this year.
They also have so many weapons as well. They have DJ Moore, Loveland. They drafted Luther Burden. They just have a ton of weapons there. So people are probably worried about, the amount of targets he's going to see. But I think he's a clear 1 there.
I love it. Well, while we've got a little bit of a lull here, we're coming up to Alex's pick on the turn. Is there any teams that you're looking at here that you're like, yeah, these teams are very good? I know the team I'm looking at that I think is one of the best drafted teams so far is the 11 spot, Hung Main, taking Derrick Henry, Puka Nacua. I think Puka Nacua is live to be wide receiver 1 this year. Getting George Kittle in the 3rd, Jaden Daniels, strong quarterback room in the 4th, and then Jameson Williams and Jalen Waddle are 2 of my favorite bets at receiver to bounce back this year. What do you guys see?
I really like Alex's team. I think that
same thing.
Yeah, I you go ahead, Logan, because I want to see what you had to say.
Well, I just think Jamar Chase, easy number 1 pick, but I think the fact that you got Hill 5th round, Evans 4th round, pairing Chase Brown with Kyron Williams, I think that's a really strong running back tandem, and you still get those 3 receivers as well. I really like that draft, and you're still waiting on quarterback, which we were talking about earlier, but I am more on the mindset of waiting for a quarterback and kind of slowing up the rest of my roster with skill position players.
Oh no, is Mahomes about to? Yeah, Mahomes just got auto drafted. Oh, I was about to take him. I had just said the whole thing about I'm gonna wait on quarterback, and then Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes, and he was about to follow me at the end of the 6th round, and I was just gonna take him and be happy. But no, autograph's got to take him away from me. Well, that's fine.
That's crazy.
I had a backup plan anyway. I think people are too low on David Montgomery this year. I think that every time that he's on the field, every game he plays, he's getting almost as many touches as Jahmyr Gibbs. And look at Jahmyr Gibbs where he's on draft boards. No, he's not as explosive in the receiving game, but they're running a 2 running back system, always happen and always do it well. Montgomery's the best RB2 in the league by far. I'm still happy with him there.
And he's the best handcuff too. That's got to be like
True.
the best, like other than Charbonnet, I think that he's got to be the best handcuff.
I'd say even better than Charbonnet. And he plays way more.
Yeah, 100%.
And here,
there's probably be times where him and Gibbs are both on the field anyways, so he may get the backfield snaps and Gibbs is in the slot. So.
And regardless of his volume too, I still think he moves like an RB1. Like if you see like his game last year, he doesn't move like an old like goal line back where like he's just they set him and push him in the last 1 yard line. Like he's genuinely could rush for 100 yards a game. If they gave him the volume. So.
Yeah, I do like Montgomery, especially if you go wide receiver heavy early, coming back and getting Montgomery as your 1 or your 2. I really like him. He's a safe pick. As long as he doesn't get injured, it's good. I like the Mark Andrews pick too. I think people are pretty low on Mark Andrews, but can you lay out like your case for why Mark Andrews should go maybe earlier?
Yeah, I think that he should be a no-brainer to go ahead of Kelsey this year, because if you watch them both last year, I just don't think you saw as much regression with Mark Andrews. And yeah, he was pretty touchdown heavy. He had 11 touchdowns in 13 games playing. But I mean, Isaiah Likely at the start of the season looked good, and then Mark Andrews took his job back. He was maybe the most effective tight end in the red zone for the entirety of last season. And he's Lamar's favorite weapon down there, and the Ravens offense is extremely effective. Lamar's not running the ball in the end zone much. I think he only had 4 rush touchdowns last year. He was throwing it to Mark Andrews. And I do like the Tyler Warren pick there, but I don't think Andrews is done yet.
Yeah, Dave just took Tyler Warren there mainly because in another league I just traded for him, a dynasty league. I traded a 1st and a 2nd and a 3rd for Tyler Warren to complete my team. Warren. The rookie tight ends have just smashed the last 2 years, and Warren has a good profile. Minus, he was not an early breakout, like Alex talked about early on in the show. He was a late breakout, year 5, really, but put up one of the best college seasons ever, and he just looks the part. So I really like him in that Indy offense. Daggone. Sniping me, man. Sniping me.
Oh, is that a snipe? Yeah, Tony Pollard.
That's a little bit of a snipe.
I love Tony Pollard there.
I was, especially now this Tajay Spears injury. It's it's at least 6 weeks. So those first 6 weeks, you could play him as an RB2. Like that's like a no-brainer in that offense. Obviously, Cam Ward's not going to be slinging it 60 yards his first game. He's going to check it down, especially the first couple of weeks, and that's perfect for Pollard. And he's going to get Tajay Spears receptions because that's Tajay Spears' game. So he's going to get all those targets. He's going to get all those rushing yards. He's still productive. So I'm sorry for sniping you, Cam.
Okay. No, he doesn't actually fit my team build. I just love Tony Pollard. But, we're all about embracing risk, so I'm going to continue that streak. You made it easier for me, Dom. We're going with Quinshon Judkins.
What you like about him? What's the appeal?
Well, I mean, Quinshon Judkins was one of, if not the top 3 running back prospects coming out this year. He shared the backfield with Travion Henderson. Just an elite guy. And obviously, the off the field stuff happened. He still hasn't been signed by the Browns. There's a lot of ambiguity about his situation right now in Cleveland. But here's the thing. People, and this isn't me, what he did was awful. So I'm going to qualify the statement with what he did is awful. And I'm not saying that he should be let off. But the NFL typically takes a long time to assess suspensions and charges with all this stuff. They wait for, the real court dates and issues and stuff like that to go through before they ever issue a suspension. So obviously the biggest hurdle to me right now is he's not signed and he hasn't been practicing with the team. That's the biggest concern. But as soon as he signs, as soon as he practices, he is the best running back in that backfield. I like Dylan Sampson, but he is not built for the AFC North. Jerome Ford is a just absolute placeholder. Judkins, if he signs anytime in the first 3-4 weeks, is a smash.
No, I agree. I think that he was great for Ohio State. Like he had, he had fantastic numbers, and that Ohio team, that Cleveland team's going to always be down. So he'll be getting work.
Yeah, and I hope he gets pass work. I think he's not a bad receiver, even though his college numbers don't show that. But he was sharing a backfield with a pass specialist with Travion Henderson. So I think that's just an underrated part of his game. People asked the same question about Kenneth Walker coming out. They said he couldn't catch passes because he didn't show it in college. Last year, he proved that. He was on a tear for a few weeks there before injury. Let's move over to the turn here. We got old man Fat Debo going, which those allegations have been poo-pooed. We got Debo and then David Njoku. Logan, tell us your thought process there.
Oh, I love that.
We kind of talked about it earlier with Terry McLaurin kind of holding out. I think out of the gates he's going to start pretty slow. I do think the injury risk is pretty high, especially like hamstring injury, or calf injury, just because he hasn't been practicing. And then David Njoku, I think Cleveland just doesn't have that many weapons. They have Jerry Jeudy. They drafted Harold Fannin, but I think there's a lot of targets there on the offense, and I think Joe Flacco is going to target Njoku quite often.
What happens if daggone, I'm just getting sniped all over the place here. Colson Loveland goes. That was my rookie tight end backup. What happens if Dylan Gabriel or Shador come in?
That is definitely a problem. Especially, I think Shador will. I think Gabriel is definitely going to. If Joe Flacco gets benched, it will be Gabriel obviously first. But I don't know how long he's going to last. And I think regardless, they're going to run a lot of 2 tight end sets just because they're going to run the ball a lot in Kevin Stefanski's system, and they just don't have the weapons on the outside to really, support Joe Flacco fully. So I'm taking the risk on Njoku, but I kind of feel good about it.
Draft Kyle Pitts. It's going to be his year.
Draft Bill. Right here.
Oh, that's a great idea. Hold on, where is he? Oh, I hope I can get to him.
Don't take Bill.
All for the risk. Cam risk team.
No!
Thank you for the heads up, Alex. I almost forgot that my guy was right there on the board just waiting for me. Bill Krosky Merritt. Wait, who said Bill? Who said Bill?
I said Bill.
Oh, shout out Dom. He's always got my back. Thank you, Dom.
You didn't want Bill for yourself. You were the next pick.
Listen,
Kyle Pitts
I want somebody to have him. Kyle Pitts was a thought.
Good question, though. How high would we draft neighbors in high PPR and half PPR?
Half PPR, he would have to go down a little bit in favor of some of the running backs, I feel.
I'd see him at that beginning of second round, like that turn. I'd see him because he's going more like that 7th, 8th pick right now. So I think I would see him more, maybe in the middle, but I doubt he drops that far. I think he has too much upside to and after the catch explosiveness to be able to go that late.
So here's a good question.
On turn as well.
Yeah, would you take Henry or Neighbors in a half-point PPR?
What pick would I be at? or is it just like
I guess you're at let's say the 110. Those are your two best options.
I'd probably rather take Henry and then pair Henry with either like a Brian Thomas or a Puka or Drake London.
I love that. Yeah, I think half point PPR does hit the receivers a little bit. He is a PPR machine, but he does get yards, and that's a good thing for half point PPR. But Derrick Henry, you can't. I mean, Derrick Henry just eats in half point PPR leagues.
Yeah.
It's a great question, though. Thank you for that.
Does
now.
Russell
And real
Wilson,
quick, yeah, I want to hear this Russell Wilson thing. I want to hear this, but real quick, I just want to shout out. We've got 28 people watching the live stream. This is a fan feed record for sure.
Let's go.
So thank you everybody for watching this. I'm hoping that this is super helpful to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. We're gonna hit every question that we can. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Follow us. Follow all these guys. Because if you like their takes, and I mean, you can see they're pretty smart guys. They're going to have lots of information throughout the season for you guys to chew up. So go ahead. I want to hear this Russell Wilson talk.
For me, I'm a bit concerned about Neighbors because we kind of saw, and Neighbors is obviously better than George Pickens, but we saw this last year with Russell Wilson, his over dependency on the deep ball. Is Neighbors, middle of the field catches, is that going to take a hit because Wilson's not going to be able to hit those passes? I would feel more confident if, like, once Jackson Dart takes over, personally, for Neighbors.
Yeah, I definitely see that. Like, Russ Wilson's just bad. I think it's done. I really like Jackson Dart. I mean, I think he's been extremely impressive, and if he starts, which me and Trey have talked about this on the podcast, we think that he's probably going to start. I think it's week 4 or 5 that they go play the Saints. That's a perfect week for him to come in and start his NFL career. So I just love that. Alex, you took J.K. Dobbins. You were talking about him positively earlier, and Kyler Murray. What was the thought process there?
J.K. Dobbins, I think, is going to be the starter for the Broncos. I mean, people saw the news about RJ being 4th on the depth chart. I don't believe that, but I do think that Dobbins, I mean, he was, I think, RB12 for the first 8 weeks last year. He was putting up great numbers, and I think he can take that over to the Broncos. They have a really good offensive line. And Sean Payton, I mean, he couldn't run the ball last year because they had Javonte Williams starting for him. I think Dobbins takes the role of RB1 for their team, and for most of the season is going to run with it. And then with Kyler, I've talked about how I think the quarterbacks have better value at the end of the draft. You check out our fan feed network fantasy rankings. I did the quarterbacks, and I have Sleeper just yelled "what the" because you took Brandon Aubrey in the 9th round. But
that's hilarious.
That startled me. But I think Kyler Murray is the prototype for a fantasy quarterback. He's going to get 500 rush yards. He's going to get 5 rushing touchdowns. And if Marv improves, then his passing is going to go way up as well. So I think Kyler Murray is the quarterback 7 after Mahomes this year.
I really hope you're
by
trying
Kyler Murray
to be able to turn.
We got a couple questions in chat too.
Yeah.
Would you trade?
Okay.
Would you trade J-Mo, Marvin Harrison, and Judy for Jamar Chase? That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say. I don't think that's yeah.
As long as this isn't dynasty.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even in redraft, I think Jamar provides such a point differential between those two guys. I mean, we're talking like Jamar could average 20 points a game, whereas J-Mo and Marvin are probably going to be closer to that. I mean, if J-Mo hits, it's like 16 to 18, but that's if. And we've been saying he's going to hit for years. Marvin Harrison, I don't like the outlook for Marvin this year. I'm taking Chase, and Judy's like good for 12 points a game. So I definitely want the higher tier guy in redraft.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I got another
I love the
question
Josh
here.
Downs. I love the Josh Downs.
Yeah, Josh
Thank
Downs
you, thank you.
really picked up. Dart and Neighbors will be the next Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase duo. What do y'all think?
I think that's a bit premature to say because I think Dart's been really good preseason, but I just don't know I mean, we still don't know yet.
Well, the thing with Burrow and Jamar was the reason why they're so good. They had so much chemistry. Like I don't, Dart and Neighbors that didn't play in college together. It's a different system for Dart completely. I mean, it's possible. I think Dart's really good, but I don't know if he's going to get to Joe Burrow level. I think he'll be a very, very good quarterback.
It's your pick. Uh-oh.
Oh, I was on it, baby.
Oh, he was on it. Sorry, I didn't want to let you auto draft for the second time.
No, you're good. Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
Yeah, but I just don't think Burrow's, I mean, I don't think Jackson Dart's to that Burrow level. You can say that yet. I think we need to see him first.
He never had that Burrow production in college.
Mhm.
Burrow came in from one of the best quarterback seasons ever.
Yeah, I agree.
Cameron, you said you would start Dart week 5 against the Saints, correct?
Yep. The
Okay.
2 weeks
their
after that
next
is
3
Christmas.
games. Yeah, it's like Eagles, Denver Eagles is the next 3 games. So it's like
It's so bad.
we got a nice warm-up game, and then I don't know how he's gonna do in those other 3 games.
Well, here's the big thing, and my theory behind all that is the fact that Dayball's job is on the line, and Joe Shane's job is on the line. And, if they get to week 8 and they're 1-7, I don't think ownership is going to be happy about that, especially after trading Saquon last year to the Eagles. And, I just think, ownership is very impatient. Golly, double tight end is just killing me, guys. You guys are killing me with this double tight end thing. But yeah, I think they're going to be forced, depending on how Russ is. I mean, if they win some games and they're about 500 by the time week 8 comes around, that might be okay. But Dart gives them their best chance to win and shows promise for the future. So, golly, Hung.
Oh
No, dude. No.
Nice.
I'm in shambles. Oh.
Wow.
That's it.
funny.
That's it. I'm auto drafting.
Why?
I'm at a pretty tough spot right now. I still need a
Cam-
quarterback, but I kind of want to wait a little bit.
Your
Right
night's
now, the board is
absolutely
very
ruined.
dry. Yeah.
I'm in shambles. This is why I can't play in leagues with my friends. Especially now, like if I do more of these mock drafts with you guys, like people are gonna know how I draft. Ooh, Javonte
God.
Williams. I do want to comment on this because I took Jaden Blue about 6 picks before you took Javonte. What is your outlook, Logan, on the Cowboys backfield?
So when I look at backfield, especially this late in the draft, it's mostly about opportunity. And Jane Blue just suffered the ankle sprain. And it's not a severe ankle sprain. I think it's a low ankle sprain. So he
Low.
probably won't miss a lot of time. But I think Javonte right now is probably he's the most healthy running back right now. And I think pretty much their only option right now based on his injury. So I'm going to take the shot there. But I can definitely see it just not working out. But just going to take a shot there on starting running back on a team that is going to have to put up points to compete now that Micah Parsons is gone.
I like it. I'm going to comment on that. I'm just looking at this draft board real quick. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
no,
I'm going to do
I
it.
think you got the best QB steal in the whole draft right there. Oh, except for that one, Drake May. Let's go.
Let's go.
No,
Let's go.
I love that pick. I think he supposedly he's gonna get way more designed runs. He's gonna get a lot more opportunity to do what he did at UNC. So I think that's a fantastic pick. I don't know. I know Alex, you probably got more to say, but
What can I say?
Hype me up on Drake May.
Dude, what a pick, man. Hey, people don't realize even last year, he was like the QB 16 with when he started with who was his number 1 wide receiver? Pop Douglas. He's going to be wide receiver 3 this year. Hopefully.
Keyshawn Boutte.
Keyshawn Boutte was leading the team in reception yards a lot of weeks. Yeah, and his offensive line was the worst in the league by far. We've upgraded at all those positions. He's got Travion in the backfield. Sky's the limit. Drake May, baby. Yeah.
I'm so in love with that. Just thank you so much for hyping that up. I do really quick want to go back on this Cowboys backfield. because I think it is a mess. I was high on Javonte coming out of college. He was a beast at yards created, making people miss. Just so good, but has just suffered so many injuries. And last year we saw that he was just a shell of himself. And my brain, so I got some ADHD going on. And me talking about Javonte playing for the Broncos last year wanted me to just mention that RJ Harvey is going to eat in PPR leagues because Javonte Williams had 70 targets in that Broncos offense. They were number 5 in running back targets last year, number 1 the year prior. He's going to eat. But back to the Cowboys, Jaden Blue, he's the only guy there with juice. I don't think that he's going to be a full-time guy. He's a little small, like Logan talked about. He's already got an ankle injury. He's been battling some injuries throughout camp. But he looked good. He did have a big boy touchdown run in that third preseason game where he, kind of pushed through some tackles to make it in. But with a high pass volume offense, Jaden Blue makes a lot of sense as a pass catcher. And so in full PPR could have some standalone value for those bye weeks. I like the bet. And we talked about some of the running backs in this range. This is just the range where you're throwing darts. You're trying to hit on random guys. And these are all guys that could probably be cut after week 1, week 2. So my favorite back just went off the board. Of course, it's time for school because he models his draft strategy after me. Bashal Tootin. Oh, and Mims goes.
I kind of wanted Mims there.
You wanted Mims there? Okay.
Yeah. I'll have to go a guy that's not going to get cut after week 2 because he's had some great fantasy seasons. It's just if Anthony Richardson gets the start at any point during the season, this guy's going to go down and get nothing. But I think Pittman's still a talented receiver.
Oh, yeah.
With Daniel Jones, I think he has top 30 upside.
Yep.
This one's interesting because it's at the point now where there's 4 picks left. I usually like to get a backup quarterback and a backup tight end and then a kicker defense.
There's a certain tight end in Atlanta that you could take.
Is Kyle Pitts still available?
He's coming
is he
back.
Actually? Oh, my God.
Michael Penix is really good.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to take Kyle Pitts because I think that would be hilarious. Yeah.
It's a great pick. I don't hate
honestly, I think it's worth a shot. I have
him ranked as my tight end 12.
Especially around 11 too. You're not like Cam just said, you're not getting guys who are going to be your wide receiver 1 or your number 1 running back. You're going to get guys who you may cut in after week 2. It's very okay to be I'm going to draft Kyle Pitts. If he stinks, he stinks. You cut him after a couple of weeks and you pick up another weekly start tight end. But I think that's the upside is pretty good for round 11.
And then Mooney kind of the same thing. If Pitts goes down, Mooney's going to go up. So
yeah,
I guess we're betting on opposite sides here.
I'm really excited for that Falcons offense.
Tom Brady came back really quick just to tell us he would definitely have Jerry Jeudy and Jamar Chase over J-Mo and Harrison. So thank you, Tom. Shout out, Tom.
Hope you're enjoying retirement.
That's a great pick right there. I like that Trey Benson pick.
Yeah.
Oh, we were just talking about Benson earlier. I hate Trey Benson, but Logan, go ahead and give me the case of why you like Trey.
Well, James Conner, last year was the only year he played a full season without suffering any injuries, and I think he's definitely an older player in general, and he's has a history of being hurt. So I think Trey Benson at this range, he definitely see. I mean, Conner could go down early in the season. Now you have a potential RB1, RB2. Probably more like RB2, but this late in the draft, I like that value.
Yeah, he's the only guy there. So I do understand that. I think I hate him just because people were hyping him up year 1. He didn't meet my expectations, and he hasn't really done anything since he's been in the league so far because James Conner is just Superman. I'm low on him. I'm gonna take my.
Can I shout out time for school right here with the?
Yeah. I was about to pull that up.
Would be his quarterback 1. I think that is actually a really good pick. I think it's a really.
That's an awesome pick.
if he plays the whole season, he's gonna be a top 7 fantasy quarterback. I think.
And I think
his rushing ability is insane.
The great thing about what you said too, like this, the quarterbacks in the later rounds, if they're not good, if Fields gets like 16 points a week, you can always pick up another quarterback. It's a 10-team league or it's a 12-man league, so there's going to be quarterbacks available for you to start weekly. So that the Fields pick is really, really nice because he has a ton of upside. I'd say he has top 10 quarterback potential, maybe even top like 7.
Yep. I'm very in on Justin Fields. Just rushing this year, his passing is abysmal. Rushing is just elite. I mean, if he goes for 1,000 yards, it's worth it because he's like an RB2,
Exactly.
And then he adds whatever he can add passing wise. It could be a lot of fun with Fields. I wanted to shout out this comment from Micah, who made that Justin Fields pick. He asked that all 4 of us vote on who has the worst team out of us 4. And I think I know who it might be, but we'll get back to that. Dom took
picked Okonkwo as their tight end 1, but
hey, he's gonna hit. I mean, who else, right? So let's think about this.
I'll tell you right now, I would vote for myself if we were all doing it. I am not a huge fan of my team, to be honest with you. Really? I would vote for myself as well. It has not been the strongest performance.
You got steals at quarterback and tight end that make your whole roster, and T. Higgins.
I don't think there's a worse team. I think it's just the most fun team to see, like if it plays out or not. Because like I'm looking at some of these teams and like I would love for like some of these teams that don't look like they're gonna work out to like have like top like the like bye week first playoff like number 1 in the standings.
This would be a cool league to turn into an actual league.
I do regret taking Hubbard. I should have taken Joe Burrow where I took Hubbard. I should have done that.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I should have got Burrow, Higgins stack, and kind of went aggressive there. I think I reached a little bit on Hubbard, to be honest with you.
How do y'all feel about stacking? How do y'all feel about stacking in a home league draft?
What was it? I'm sorry, the sleeper was cheering.
No, you're good.
I never do it on purpose. I will say
stacking just in home league drafts. Because you hear a lot about stacking in like the big best ball contest, Underdog, DraftKings. That the stacks add positive correlation to teams that they can hit at the right times in the playoffs. But when we're talking about a simple home league, are you going out of your way to make a stack happen, or are you just waiting for it to fall to you?
I think it's more coincidence. I think like that if Burrow fell like to Alex, I think he takes him 100%. But like, I don't think that Alex is going out of his way to not take like Kyron Williams or Mike Evans Mike Evans or Tyreek Hill to take Burrow. I think that you kind of there's very few stacks that you can have this year that are like legitimate, like number one.
I would also propose to y'all, do you guys care about bye weeks when you draft at all? Because I used to, but I don't really care anymore.
No. Because then you're going to pass on players. Yeah, you're going to pass on players that are really good just because they have the same bye week as somebody else, and then it's going to affect your entire draft. So,
yeah, just give me all the players at bye week 4, and I'll just bye week. I'll take a bye week on week 4. I'll enjoy my Sunday and watch football with no cares in the world.
Try. David Roberto has a question.
Oh, Dave Roberto. Okay, hold on. If I'm trying to trade Kenneth Walker in a Superflex Dynasty League, what would you say his value is? Does Charbonnet really have what it takes to take over that backfield? This is a great question. Great question.
I think it's so tough with Kenneth Walker, to be honest with you. I think if he stays healthy, he can be an elite running back, but he's just always hurt. And like Zach Charbonnet kind of showed last year when Kenneth Walker was out that he could be a really productive back in that backfield. So I don't know, because I've never played in Superflex Dynasty leagues, so I really don't know, what the value would be for Kenneth Walker.
I feel like that's especially if you're tanking, like if you're like I'm what do you call it? I'm 1-5 the first 6 weeks, and you want to get rid of him. I mean, go for high draft picks. Go for maybe a young quarterback. I even like maybe like a first or second, and then like somebody like a Bo Nix or like a somebody who can provide like a ton of value, and especially in Superflex too. Quarterbacks are so valuable in Superflex.
I might disagree with y'all a little bit on Walker. He's only 24. He's still pretty much fresh out of college, and he showed such upside that if he gets a few years in as a workhorse, I think he's still one of the most valuable running backs in Dynasty. I think he might be a top 10 Dynasty running back for me right now.
Yeah.
Do you think he's over A-Chain?
No. But I would have him over maybe I might have him over Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs. I'd probably have him over Derrick Henry, because Henry only has a couple years left, and McCaffrey. So I think I'd put him right at 10. And over Kamara, for sure.
Yeah, I was excited to hear y'all's responses to that because Dave and I are pretty good buddies. We play in a couple different dynasty leagues together. And Kenneth Walker's one that he's I know in at least one league he's actively trying to tank and trying to trade Kenneth Walker. But the market for Kenneth Walker is just abysmal. And I think it's because so many people are scared off by the injury, thing with Kenneth Walker. But I tend to go with what Alex said. I think he's 24. He's done nothing but show elite traits when he plays. We see a lot of guys who come into the league and they're injury prone or quote unquote injury prone, because I don't even think injury prone is a real thing. Injuries happen. That's a thing, but it's not like it happens to some guys over and over and over. Now, do they not heal properly? Stuff like that. Yeah. But Kenneth Walker, I don't think is injury prone. And I think that this is the year he's going to actually play a full year. So I told Dave just to wait for 4 weeks. This is the other thing in Dynasty, because you don't have to keep him all year. Let him play the first 4 weeks while he's healthy and show his ceiling, and then, trade him after that. And I think that his value is probably around a first and a second. So let me.
And hypothetically, I mean, he is a free agent after this year. Like, what if he went to like Chicago and free agency next year, or whatever? What would that do to his dynasty value?
I'd gladly take him. No,
yeah, I'm gladly take him. I still think he'd be great there. I mean, not as good, but
I think he's great anywhere. I think
he'd be really good in Chicago, because I don't think they really have any. Like DeAndre Swift, I think they can move on after this year, and I think if they paid Kenneth Walker, he would definitely be the workhorse there, and that offense could be really good by next year. Could be really good this year, so I would take a shot on him.
Speaking of running backs, where's Joe Mixon gonna end up at?
Yeah, he's been falling.
He may not play this year. Their GM was saying that he may not.
Yeah,
they don't know if he's gonna play.
Yeah, that's the scariest part for me, is the fact that they're non-committal on him even playing this year. I just think that's scary. Let me look at these defenses.
I remember when
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I had a separate statement. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I remember when Dameon Pierce was really, really good in fantasy, and like I thought he was going to be that, maybe that guy there, like that 3-down back where you can get you could just push him, like every yard, like three yards, and get him all the way down. He was good. He was really, really good, and I'm really surprised they went out and got Mixon last year. So I'm interested to see what they do with him and Chubb, how they split the workload. I think that people are overhyping Chubb a little bit. He's older. He just got off an ACL, or really, it's a hard injury to come back from when you're. I think he's like at least 30. So I'd like to see where he how much work he gets to.
We are in the thick of it, fellas. We're kickers, defenses, all of the above. This is the real grimy part. If your league allows you to, a lot of times I think I just skip kicker and defense and take players until right before the game start. I am going to go ahead and draft the one man in the league who can kick a 70-yard field goal.
That's sick.
And if you're wondering why the Arizona Cardinals are drafted so high, week 1 they played the New Orleans Saints. So
Yeah.
I'm taking
That's a good pick.
all day.
I would have taken them if they fell to me. For
Yeah,
sure.
I'm a big streaming
I like that pick,
defenses guy. Streaming kickers. Caleb Williams in the 14th is just. This is what I'm talking about. Like the cost associated with taking a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson in the 3rd round versus taking a Caleb Williams and a Justin Fields or a Drake May late in the draft. Like getting 2 of those guys and just hoping that one of them hits. It's just so. I just like it so much better, especially in these smaller bench teams. Oh, there he goes. Mr. Brady himself.
I told you I'd do it.
You did say you were going to do it.
Too.
All right, so let's pull this up. We're going to look at this draft board. We're going to see as best as we can. I hope that's all. Yeah. All right, so we're going to take a look at these teams. That's the end of the draft. Thank you to all these guys who have joined. I'm going to shout them out one more time. Shout out to Caleb, Big Caves. Shout out Travis, Chalupa Batman, my man. Shout out David Roberto, my guy. Just wait on Kenneth Walker. Don't trade him yet. Shout out to Big Mike Flemian for basically mirroring my drafts. Shout out Malaka Flocka. You're the man. Stupid. Thanks for hopping in last minute, my guy. B. Sapino, Hung, and we got Logan at the end. Thank you guys all for being a part of this. Let's take a look at some of these teams and let's just see. Well, before we look at which teams we like the best, we do have a comment here. Is CD going up in value? This is a harder question because he goes so early in the 1st round, but I have seen people being more willing to take him in the top 4 picks, whereas maybe before they were taking him, basically after those top 3 running backs and Jamar Chase. He's definitely jumped Justin Jefferson. So, yes, I'd say he is going up in value.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had him below Jefferson at the start of the draft season. But just as people realize that Dak Prescott's still Dak Prescott, he's going to be healthy this year. And that the last time we saw CD with a happy and healthy Dak Prescott, he was the wide receiver 1. He was the wide receiver 1 2 years ago. I think they've realized, CD might be a safer pick than Jefferson with who knows how good J.J. McCarthy is.
Right. All right, so let's take a look at some of these teams. What teams stand out to you, whether good or bad? What are the teams? And don't be afraid to offend people. Like we're being real, we're being realistic, and we're wanting people to look at these teams and say, this is what I should aim for. Or this is not what I should aim for here. Yeah, that guy in the
I'll start
2-7 spot. Really?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Go.
Dominic, nice. Dominic, I think you had maybe the best draft here. I think you might have. Just because I love A-Chain, I think you got him way later than most people will. He usually goes around the 1-2 turn, but people are scared of the calf strain. I've seen, or whatever is going on with it. I think he's got the upside to be the running back 1. And I think I saw a stat the other day that adjusted for if Tua had played the whole year, he would have been the running back 1 last year. And then I love getting Jacoby Myers. I don't think I mentioned. I think Myers is amazing in the 8th round. He's going to be the top receiver for Geno Smith, who's been a good quarterback for the last few years, who helped JSN rise in production last year. And then down the line, you got Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby. Bigsby, I think, is going to lead the Jaguars backfield. I think that was a great pick down there as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of I chose the 6th overall pick just because I see a lot of people scared to draft, in those middle picks, not having either the number 1 turn or the the back half of the draft. So it's definitely possible. You get it. If you're gonna focus on one position, I feel like do that. Like I got my Saquon A-Chain and then start looking for those receivers, like you said, those Myers. Like I like even Big Cabe's team. Like he went for Gibbs, Hampton, and then you saw he just went Hunter, Ridley. I really like that Stephon Diggs. He's that number 1 wide receiver there. So I like Big Cave's team too. Just like your team, like that Jamar Chase pick, and then going down the line. So I think just trust your instinct too when you draft, and then trust the player that you pick.
Yeah, I really liked Alex's draft. I mean, I think Chase Brown was an absolute steal at the 2-3 tournament game at the end of the second round. I think it's an absolute steal, and I think his draft there was a ton of value. You got like I said earlier, like Tyreek Hill 5th round. I think there's a lot of risk with him, but getting 5th round is well worth the risk to be him being your number 3 receiver behind Chase and Evans. I mean, I think that was a great pick. And Kyler kind of scares me, but I do love Brock Purdy later down the line game. Brock Purdy. So I thought you got tons of value every round. Honestly.
Yeah. I'm going to shout out really quick, Dan. Thank you, Dan, for subscribing. Really appreciate you. And I'm going to concur. I really liked Alex's team. And the lesson to be learned from Alex's team is, don't be so afraid to draft the fallers, because guaranteed in your home league there will be fallers, guys who are dropping. And this is especially a smaller league team. If you're playing with 3 flexes, it's harder to draft these guys because you have to fill out more roster spots. But right now, the only questionable guy I see in your lineup is Tyreek Hill. And you've got David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, Michael Pittman, all 3 guys that can fill that flex in a very meaningful way. So, yeah, I thought you had a solid draft. I will shout out Big Caves. I like you said, Dom, Jahmyr Gibbs, Marion, Travis Hunter. It might be a little rookie heavy, but I love rookies. Rookies are how you win leagues. It's really about surviving the first 4 or 5 weeks while they're kind of learning and getting associated with the game. But second half of the year is when rookies really break out. And, if 2 out of the 3 hit, that's awesome. Then you just got to fill in one more spot. I'm trying to see who else. I did want to go back to, Chalupa Batman. This is a good team, guys. Bijan, James Cook, Lad McConkey, Ricky Pearsall, who I think is going to be a really good pick this year. Sam Laporta in the tight end spot. Caleb Johnson in the flex is probably the only question mark there. But the rest of that team is really good. I don't know. I really like that draft.
I really like Logan's Xavier Worthy pick. I don't think I said anything when he picked him, but I think he's going to be getting him at that 5-6 turn. That's actually really, really nice. I've seen him go as early as 4. So I really like that Worthy, especially those first 6 weeks. He's gonna eat.
Yeah,
And we were talking about handcuffs earlier, and we didn't mention Brian Robinson, who's just become a top 3 handcuff in the league,
Yes.
I think, undoubtedly. And he got him 3 rounds later than Zach Charbonnet. I think Brian Robinson's shown more capability to be RB1 than Charbonnet has. And if we're talking injury prone as a real thing, CMC is more injury prone than Kenneth Walker is. So that might be a steal as well.
I absolutely adore Cam's team. It's the most fun team I think I've ever seen. It's so cool.
Oh.
I seriously that taking Bill and Quinshon Judkins back to that's, and you know what? It could very well work out. That could be those could be your who'd you draft? You have CMC,
Pickens in the
Kenneth
flex
Walker.
currently.
Yeah, I mean your running back room could be insanely stacked. You have CMC and Kenneth Walker, 2 RB1s, I believe, and then you have Quinshon Judkins, Bill, and then even Jaden Blue, who could, if Javonte goes down, he's going to get some work. So I think that's a great RB room.
I'm disappointed because I want more comments on my tight end room. What do you think about this tight end room? If you're going to wait till the last minute, is there not a more boom bust tight end room than this?
Dude, those checkdowns to I can't even say his name, but
Okonkwo, Chig.
Okonkwo, yeah, you got that. I think the like I said, the checkdowns with Tony Pollard, those short yards for Cam Moore are going to be so open. So I don't even know who I'm not gonna lie. I don't
He's wide
even know
receiver too.
who's the Cleveland tight end.
Harold Fannin.
Harold Fannin.
Logan, you know anything about Harold Fannin?
I do. He's on my dynasty team. I just drafted him
Sure.
a couple weeks ago in my dynasty draft. So
You're about
I
to be a
definitely like
rich
Harold
man.
Fannin. Yeah.
He's slow. I remember everybody talking about him at the combine, how slow he is, even though he was so productive at Bowling Green. But I mean, maybe
It's
he'll
'cause he-
carve out a role for himself.
He runs like a duck. Like he's duck-footed. I don't know if you guys remember Jay Ajayi, but he runs
Oh, yeah.
exactly like Jay Ajayi used to run. There was this one run that Jay had when he played for the Eagles. He broke like through the line, was wide open and he ran like 60 yards. And just, it's such a funny play because he looks like he's trying
Was that,
so hard to run faster.
Was that against Dallas? Was that a Sunday night
Might have
football game?
been.
I think it was Sunday night.
I think it was. I think there was a lot of people who like dropped him after that because of just how bad he looked, even though he had a great run. But so we talked about Tyler Warren earlier as the rookie tight end, fifth-year breakout, had one of the best college tight end seasons ever. Guess who had the best college tight end season ever? Harold Fannin.
Really?
Harold Fannin played for Bowling Green. If you like numbers, you should go look up some stuff about Harold Fannin in his this last year. Harold Fannin played for Bowling Green, terrible team. So you might think, oh, well, he's just going against bad competition. One of his best games was against Penn State. And I'm actually going to look this up because I got to get it right. I was kind of shooting
Didn't
from
he
the
have
hip.
like 150 yards and 2 touchdowns, or was that against Anaheim? There's a game.
I think it was that one. Hold on. Let's see. He had caught 11 passes for 137 yards and a touchdown. And then against Texas A&M, he caught 8 passes for 145 yards and a touchdown. So, like,
Jeez.
2 really good schools, really good defensive schools. And this guy, Harold Fannin, is cooking them. Right now, Harold Fannin has been resting with the starters in preseason. He played in week 3 with the starters. They just released Deontay Johnson. They don't have a slot guy. They have Cedric Tillman, Jerry Jeudy, and then the next guy up would be, I think, Jamari Thrash. But Harold Fannin has been sitting with the starters. I think they've got a plan for him, and I think he's going to play the slot. And I think it's going to be really, really interesting. So as a late round dart, he's probably nothing. I'm probably just, smoking something strong. But I'm going to keep on going, especially this late. I'm going to throw that dart.
Yeah.
All right.
Almost
do we-
Dallas Goddard didn't get drafted. How did Dallas Goddard, top 12 tight end every year, not get drafted?
He is always top 12 when he's not hurt. I mean, there's a lot of good tight ends there. Jake Ferguson's, I think, a great one. Pass-heavy offense. Zach Ertz. That's the thing. For me, like I said, this whole team, the theme of this team was upside, and so throwing that dart at Fannin. Here's the thing. Week 1, the Browns play Cincinnati. And you got a fresh Joe Flacco. He's rested up. Maybe we can get a little more juice out of him. And maybe Harold Fannin is something. If he's not, I'm cutting him. And I got my choice at Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz. Isaiah Likely's coming back from injury. Brenton Strange, potential breakout.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tight ends in this small of a league. So
That's the guy from Carolina to Devondre Sanders or
Jatavion.
Jatavion. Yep.
sir. Yeah,
Yep.
Jatavion Sanders.
There's just so many good tight ends. Most people aren't taking double tight ends except for stupid because, you said it, stupid. I'm always going to throw darts, especially in a draft like this. I'm not going to go for give me 8 points a game because that's not going to win me a league. It's 14 points and above. But we're done. So let's end this. I want to hear if you could sum up your strategy in about 1 minute, each of you going into home leagues. What are you doing to attack your home league draft? What's the best piece of advice you can give to the people?
Even out your roster. Even it out early. If I draft a receiver first round, I like to draft 2 running backs and then draft another receiver in the next round. From there, whatever. If I end up like I did here with my first 6 rounds being 3 running backs, 3 receivers, that's when I'm happiest. And I go running back receiver heavy almost every draft early on, unless I can get Trey McBride. I think Trey McBride's going to be huge this year. He only has 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
But
Regression.
go heavy. go heavy, running backs, receivers early, try to even them out, and then draft a quarterback late. That's my entire strategy every year. This year's specific.
No, yeah, I mean, I agree with Alex. Like I said before, like I think if you're gonna draft somebody you trust. You know, don't if somebody gets taken that you want, don't just go like panic draft. And I do it a lot. It happens, but don't panic draft it. Like if you're in that turn and you say that like 2-3 turn and Tyron Williams gets taken, you don't know who to draft. There's plenty of other running backs in that third round. You know, draft somebody who you trust. Don't panic pick. Like Alex said, go heavy one, you know, RB or wide receiver, and then get the rest right after, and then go for that quarterback and tight end, because there's plenty of value later in the rounds. People will pick, you know, Josh Allen in the start of the second, or even I've seen like crazy like the start of the first, like not start of the end of the first. Don't do that. Just, you know, get your skill players. Don't panic draft, and that's pretty much it.
What you got, Logan?
Yeah, I would say target, you know, rookie receivers, second-year pass catchers. I would target them late and take a shot on them, you know, late in the season. That's when you kind of see rookie pass catchers kind of, you know, rise to the top. And like Alex, I'm a big proponent of taking quarterbacks late. I think if you get hit a quarterback in the later rounds and they can end up being a top 10 guy, that's how you win your league. You saw, you know, Patrick Mahomes, his first year starting, he was like a 7th, 8th round pick. He ended up winning people a lot of leagues. So just wait on quarterbacks, and you may hit one that could be a top 10 guy. Like Bo Nix last year too was a late pick. Even went undrafted. So that's how you win your league. Yeah, Jane Daniels too. Yeah. Yep,
I love it. Yeah, I would say number one, depending on what platform you're drafting on, you should Google. You can go to Reddit and look up abusing the ranks. Because every platform is going to have different ADP, and you know ESPN has running backs going way early. I mean, some of these receivers that go in the 5th go in like the 7th or 8th on ESPN. So everyone is different. So look up that Reddit page, and you'll find like the guys who are higher or lower or better values in each one. But my overall strategy, every draft I go into, I'm never intimidated going into a draft, no matter who I'm going up against, whether they're, you know, family, friends who don't know nothing, or it's people like this who I know all know ball, because there's always an edge. You have to read the room. This room very early was overdrafting rookies. We saw a lot of reaches for these rookies early on, and there were a lot of guys falling who are more, you know, older names. You know, A.J. Brown, Devontae Adams are both, you know, they're in their 30s or close to for AJ, you know, but there's an advantage there. I think if they hit, you know, they're going to be very good players. So you have to read the room. No, you know, just don't be tied to any specific strategy before going out, except for don't do early quarterback, stay late, you know, unless you can get a Josh Allen in the 5th round. If he falls 2 rounds of ADP, catch the fallers. But anyway, last thing I want to do, just you guys, you know, one more time, tell us where we can find you, where we can find your work, what you're working on currently, and what we can look forward to. So, Alex, let me hear it.
Yeah, find me on Twitter at AC Percy. Find me also on Twitter at SU Football Analytics, Football Analytics Club at Syracuse. We're going to be doing some fun projects with that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to writing more for fantasy. We're going to be releasing some starts and sits, aren't we? That'll be fun.
Starts and sits weekly.
And writing about the Patriots is hopefully Drake May carries us to the promised land. But yeah, I'm excited for the season.
Love it. All right, Dom.
All right, yeah. So you can find me on Twitter at DomOrrico. I usually post like, you know, fantasy football content, just NFL news in general, but more fantasy football content, Bears content on there. Also, you can find me at Fantasy Network. I'll be writing for Chicago Bears. Also, they're doing the start sits. So I'm super excited. We got a lot of good stuff. I think we're going to be playing a lot more these too. Hopefully more streams. I had a lot of fun on here, so hopefully we could plan more of these, do more, you know, start sit videos or something. But yeah, go check out Fantasy Network on the website and DomOrrico on Twitter.
And Logan's so humble, he had to jump off so that he didn't have to share stuff about him. But I'm going to share stuff for him. Yeah, so Logan, you know, you can find him on Twitter or I think Instagram and Twitter. He said it at the beginning of the video. Oh, he just texted me. His internet went out. He said it at the beginning of the video. So once this ends, scroll back about 10, 15 minutes into the stream. He also does the Laser Bros podcast on YouTube. Logan Lazarczyk, follow him, follow his podcast. Maybe we can get it down in the bio of this video. For me, you can just find me on Twitter. I'm mostly talking about football, fantasy football, hot takes. It's a Luther Burden fan account. So, just if you're here for Luther Burden, follow me. Talk about a lot of rookies. I was in on Bill early, baby, and I love it.
Yeah.
Let's go, Bill. Let's go, Bill.
Feel free to reach out. And then overall, guys, just, follow the channel. We got 28 people in here right now. I mean, it's just nuts. This is kind of cool. But 28 people in here. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, whatever, do all the things. And this is us for FanFeed Network. We're signing off, and we will see you guys next time.